Welcome to MBA Mental Boost. This is your coach, Dr. Rosie. Today, we're diving into an area that everyone talks about, getting in the zone, also known as flow state. So, first of all, I want to start with defining the zone. So, you will have experienced this. I know you will have done. Now, it might feel a bit hit or miss, which I know sometimes we kind of think that getting into a flow state, getting into the zone, by the way, I'm going to use these terms interchangeably, is, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's like talking about kind of that consistent performance. Sometimes I'm performing at my best, other days it's just shit. It's like, okay, none of this is luck. None of this is accidental. We can go into a game setting with that intention. We can work on creating habits, creating an environment that means that we work on getting into the zone. And we know that when we get onto the court, we can control stepping into the zone. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. I'd probably say this in every single episode, but this happens with intentional practice. It happens with that consistent effort. Just like getting the reps in at the gym, we're going to be getting the reps in for your mind. But let's start with defining the zone. So it's a state of flow where time seems to slow down. Every action sort of unfolds effortlessly. It's like you're moving like water, it's smooth. You have heightened focus, total engagement, and there's kind of like a merging between action and awareness. And this is where we get into that like sweet spot of being in the zone, of being in flow. So let's dive into like the triggers and the conditions that create that sense of flow. Because I think sometimes, when you're in the moment, like there's no time to be thinking about what these triggers are or conditions. And then, after a game, chances are you're just not reflecting on this. So I kind of want this episode for you to start to be a bit more intentional with being in the zone. What it's looked like for you in the past, but more importantly, what it's felt like. Because, this is like a bodily thing. You feel it. And then you can start to bring that awareness to it, which means that you can start to bring your intention to stepping into the zone more and more often. It stops being luck. So some of the kind of triggers for creating a sense of flow: having clear goals. So thinking about having clear goals that it provides that sort of roadmap for focused action. So you're going to have well-defined objectives. You know what needs to get done in the game. You've worked through this, the plan, and that eliminates any confusion. It eliminates decision fatigue so that you can just be laser focused. When you get onto the court, you just want to be laser focused. You don't want to be getting distracted. You don't really even want to be thinking. And when you're in the flow, you don't think, you just do. And you move, like I was saying, you move like water. So the clearer you can be on goals and objectives and intentions, the better, because it reduces that thinking time. Secondly, getting immediate feedback. Immediate feedback is a crucial element in the flow state. So you're going to be getting that feedback, on a constant basis. When you're in the game, you're going to be reading the game. You're going to be getting feedback from your teammates. You're going to be getting feedback from your coach. Having that feedback loop helps maintain concentration. It reinforces that connection between the actions and the outcomes. So getting that feedback in real time is so, so important. And you then get to decide what you're taking on board. This is where the more work that you do on mindset, on mental skills, you can then take on board what's being said in whatever way it's being said, because, it's not always constructive, but you take on board that message, you digest it and you put it into action. That's going to help with being in a flow state. And the third one is that alignment of skill and challenge. You need, I hate the word balance. So we're going to go with alignment between kind of that, your skill level and the challenge that's presented. Because if the challenge is too easy, you're going to become bored. You're not going to be in a flow state because you're not going to really be that engaged. You're not going to be that motivated and driven. But equally, if the challenge is too difficult, it's going to lead to frustration. It's going to lead to anxiety. If it's too difficult for your skill set, you're equally not going to be in that flow state because we've suddenly swung the other way. The sweet spot is where the challenge matches your skill level, or where it's kind of just above it, enough to kind of push for it, to strive for it. In this state known as the flow channel, you're pushed to the limits of your abilities, but you still maintain that sense of control. That's what's going to get you into the flow state. It's going to keep you engaged in the moment and playing present. Now, I want you to think about setting the stage for sort of slipping into the zone. You need a heightened state of arousal. You need that state of control. You need to eliminate distractions. And like I said, it's not something that you leave to chance. You can control it. And you can control it by putting the work in off the court. So I want you to be intentional with your mental preparation. You know, this is a key component of you getting into the zone. So doing things like mindfulness, meditation, visualization, and having some pre-performance routines is going to create that sense of focus needed to enter the flow state. That's going to help you with those things that I just mentioned, that, you know, the heightened sense of arousal, sense of control, eliminating distractions, that kind of thing. And a really quick note before I wrap up on eliminating distractions: off the court, reduce time on your social media. Honestly, the more time that I'm spending with players at the moment, the amount of time you spend on social media is crazy. And this is really having an impact on your brain, even if you're not noticing it. It means that you're going to be having to work that bit harder to stay focused. So I shall leave you with the intent that, you know, really look at how much time you're spending on social media. How productive is it? How constructive is it for your goals right now, for your vision right now? Not saying have a total digital detox, but just being intentional with your social media time. You know, that could be a quick win for bringing this intention in of being focused, of being in the moment. And this is going to help you to get more into the flow state and get into it consistently. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of NBA Mental Boost, the secret weapon to supercharging your performance on the court. If you found today's episode useful, don't forget to subscribe and share. You can connect with me over on any social platform. You can find me at Dr Rosie Mead. Until next time, go out there and dominate using the power of your mind. This is Dr Rosie, signing off.